Mike Pachelli here, coming to you with another lesson on an early Beatles song. This time I'm going to talk about the song that catapulted them to national fame in the UK. It's Please Please Me, recorded November 26, 1962. Some good backstory on this song. On June 6th of that year, the Beatles recorded at EMI with Pete Best, and they did some songs that would later become on the Please Please Me record. They did like Besa Me Mucho, Love Me Do, Ask Me Why, and P.S. I Love You. But at that time, nobody thought they had really a hit record. So the next day, John starts writing Please Please Me at Aunt Mimi's house on June 7th and 8th. He attempted to write a hit, kind of like Roy Orbison's Only the Lonely. It's kind of slow and dreamy. And he was also inspired by Bing Crosby's use of two pleases in the song. Please lend a little ear for my please. To my please, I think the song is. The next day, John goes over to Paul's house to teach him the song and rehearse it with Paul. And they were playing it for two 15-year-old girls, Lindy Ness and Lou, forget her name, who spent the night. Let's see, John was 21, Paul was not quite 20. You do the math. Any road. A little later, let's see, August, in August, Ringo joins the band. And then in September, on September 4th, they go back into the studio. And George Martin decides they got to do the silly song, How Do You Do What You Do to Me? They reluctantly record a version of it. But the Beatles thought they could never bring that song back to Liverpool because they'd get laughed at. It's such a silly song. Ended up being a hit for Jerry and the Pacemakers. But at that session, they also do a version of Please Please Me, but it's a little slower. And they're recording on a one-track machine, too, which means, you know, they record the music, and then if you want to add anything, you have to sing it live or add whatever guitar as you're mixing from one tape recorder to another tape recorder. But on that session, George Martin and Paul were not satisfied with Ringo's playing. So Martin suggests they speed up the song, Please Please Me, and they go back and they work on it, try to make it as simple as possible. Because unfortunately, George was making it really, really kind of busy playing the same, you know, over and over and over again. So they cut it out and decided to add harmonica. Because John wanted something, you know, for the hit parade. He wanted a hit. So now on September 11th, they go back to the studio, and George Martin has a session drummer there ready, Andy White, and they do Love Me Do and P.S. I Love You. Fun facts, you know, and tell on Love Me Do, when you hear the one with tambourine, that's Andy White playing drums and Ringo on tambourine. When you hear the one without tambourine, that's Ringo playing. And they had studio time left, so they did another version of Please Please Me, but they still weren't satisfied with that version. So then there's a meeting on November 16th, and Martin insists that they release How Do You Do? But the Beatles say no. You know, once again, they're not listening to George Martin, and they just refuse. So they work harder on Please Please Me, and then when they go back in on November 26th, they get it right. And that's when Martin famously says, "Hey, you guys just made your first hit." They do a mono mix 4 days later, and that's the song that you hear when you hear Please Please Me. The slower version with Andy White is on the Anthology 1 version, album, I should say. Another fun fact, when they do the stereo mix, right, the Beatles were never around when they were doing stereo mixes. They didn't care for it. They wanted the songs to be in mono. That's how they heard them. But then when they did the stereo mix, they edited 3 different mono mixes to try to get the stereo mix. John sings the wrong lyrics. He's laughing on the last "Come On." They had to sync up the mono mix with the stereo mix, and there's different speeds to put the harmonica on the stereo mix. The 2 different takes of the song are different speeds, and the vocals don't match in the last 10 seconds. The stereo mix is laughable. And some more facts. Capitol refused to release Please Please Me, so it was released by a Chicago-based label called VJ, and they ended up doing a whole album. I still have it. There's the VJ version of, it's called Introducing the Beatles on VJ. And then when Capitol finally releases the song, January 30th, 1964, on the record, they misspell the Beatles. They spell it B-E-A-T-T-L-E-S. Phew. So anyhow, it's a simple song, a lot of fun to play, so let's get started. Please Please Me, John Lennon is playing his Gibson J160E plugged into an AC30, sort of like this guitar. It's not plugged in right now because it's acoustic. It doesn't have to always be plugged in. And he's playing basic first position chords. There's no seventh chords in the recording of Please Please Me. They stick a few sevenths when they play it live, but on the record, all straight, pretty much first position chords. You'll need this E chord, an A, this B. You'll also need an F sharp minor, a C sharp minor, and 3 bar chords, a G, an A, and a B. And those are all the chords you need to play Please Please Me. Now when it starts off, John is just pounding on an E chord, you know. So you fret the E chord, just play the low strings and then strum through, like kind of like Mean Mr. Mustard. Now every other time that the lick plays, they go to A to B, except at the beginning. You just pound on E. So then when the verse starts, it's E again to an A to an E. So said these words, and then there's this little 16th note thing, right? And then the build up on the bar chords to B. Now, even though that B bar chord 16th note lick starts on the upbeat, start strumming it on the downbeat. Easier if I just play it. Let's see here. All right, and then on the bridge section, come on, starts on A. And on this, John is just kind of strumming it easier, like to F sharp minor, to that C sharp minor, back to the A, E, A, B, E. Da, 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 da. Let me play that bridge part. Come on. And that's what he plays on the verses. Now in the middle part, I don't want to sound come the middle 8, or is that 8 bars? I forget. Still just A to B to E, you know. I don't want to sound complaining is A, B, E. And there's a lesson in simplicity, right? That whole thing is 3 chords, and even though the melody kind of interweaves cool-ish, those are just the same 3 basic chords. So that's all the parts, and except at the very end when they do Please Please Me, well, yeah, 3 times. The very last thing John plays is an E to a G bar, to a first position C, to that B chord again, and he ends on an E. When I play this song, I like to sneak this G in, that Beatle G. It's a little place for you know, jangliness. Don't tell anybody. But John plays, and I go. Sorry. Great simple part, and that's everything you need to know to play Please Please Me. On Please Please Me, George Harrison plays his 57 Duo Jet. I'm using this Gretsch Country Classic plugged right into my AC30. The song starts on beat 4 with George playing a B to an E. So you count 1, 2, 3. He's hammering on to that B. And then he plays this iconic riff. Twice. Along with John Lennon playing that same riff on the harmonica. He plays it in octaves. If you don't know what octaves are, they're just two of the same notes. So he's getting an E on the 12th fret of the first string and an E on the 14th fret of the 4th. It's like the way classical guitarists finger octaves. And then twice. If Wes Montgomery were to play that, he'd finger it like this. But Wes wasn't in the Beatles, and that would have been weird. During the verse, George is mimicking the melody of the singing by playing it like this. So he plays a basic E chord, then with his pinky gets the E flat to the C sharp, another E chord. Make it like an E6, pick up the pinky, A. When I play that, I like to get sometimes two notes. You might want to do it. Sometimes it's a little easier to go. Get the B and the E flat or D sharp, whatever you want to call it. 4th fret of the second and third string. Move that down a whole step to the E chord, E6th. Pick it up, A. Sounds like this. Right? Then on that E, does that 16th note strumming thing. And from G to A to B. Right? So. Okay, then George has a little lick. It's an E to a E to a B. All right. Then hammer from the B to C sharp, and he's playing an A chord, which is a A over C sharp. Then a C to a C sharp to get to the F sharp minor. Then C sharp, C, C sharp to get to the C sharp minor. And then same lick to get to an A. A bar. Please. E, A, B, and back to the lick. Okay, so the whole verse goes like, let's see. And note, when George is playing rhythm, he's playing the low strings. He's just playing the low strings. Especially like on the middle 8 or the bridge, whatever you want to call it. When it's, I don't want to sound, he accents with Ringo. So it's A to B to E, and George plays like this. Now right there at that part of the song, on that stereo wackadoodle mix that I told you about, George plays the wrong lick, or they used George playing the wrong lick. George's lick on the stereo version right there is, which clashes with John's harmonica. And that was just some sloppy editing by George Martin and the gang, unfortunately, which kind of shows they weren't exactly taking the Beatles all that seriously this early on in their career. Okay, so yeah, remember on the come on, just let's see. Come on. No. Yeah, the first riff is from B to C sharp. The second one is C to C sharp. And then kind of little listen to that, because right off of. I think that's important if you want to get authentic George Harrison right there. And the other important thing about George's part is to accent with Ringo on the. And then play a little more strums. And the only other difference is on the very end, when they do the 3 times, please believe me, oh yeah, he plays the lick over and over again. And then the very last 4 chords, George plays an E to a G. He plays his C like this. Plays his B like that. And ends on an E. Alright? Oh yeah, like I'll please you. And those are all the parts you need to play. Please please me, just like George Harrison. Okay, for fun, I once again put it all together. It's fun for me to do, and I hope you use it as a reference. Take all these parts and play along with me playing the song, and this way you'll get it exactly like the Beatles played it.
Why do you make me blue? Last night I said these words to my girl. I know you never even try, girl. Come on, 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 come on. Please please me, oh yeah, like I please you. You me, oh yeah, like I please you.
And that's how you play Please Please Me by the Beatles. I hope you enjoyed it. And if you'd like to drop me a line, do so at mikepachelli.com. It's always cool to hear from you, and I'm doing my best to try and answer every single email. And please, if you would, subscribe to this channel. And remember, when you play songs like Please Please Me, have fun doing it, because that's what playing the guitar should be all about. So until next time, take care, and thanks for hanging out with me.